What if before you were born, your soul made agreements about the life you would live? Caroline Myss, a medical, intuitive, and spiritual teacher, discovered that we all have sacred contracts, divine agreements that guide our purpose. Today, I'm revealing how to understand your contracts and discover why you're here. Welcome to Major Inspiration. I'm your host, and today we're exploring Caroline Myss's groundbreaking work on sacred contracts and archetypes. Caroline teaches that nothing in your life is random. Your relationships, challenges, and gifts are all part of a divine plan your soul agreed to before birth. By the end of this video, you'll understand your life purpose from a completely new perspective. Who is Caroline Myss? Caroline Myss is a medical intuitive, author, and one of the most powerful voices in spiritual development. Born in 1952, she discovered she could diagnose illnesses, intuitively seeing into people's bodies and understanding the emotional and spiritual roots of disease. She worked with Dr. Norman Shealy, studying the connection between emotions, spirituality, and physical health. Her books, Anatomy of the Spirit and Sacred Contracts, have sold millions of copies worldwide. Caroline doesn't sugarcoat spirituality. She's direct, often fierce, and demands personal responsibility. She teaches that you're not a victim of your circumstances. You chose them at a soul level. Every person you meet, every challenge you face, every gift you have, it's all part of your sacred contract. And understanding that contract is the key to living your purpose. What is a sacred contract? A sacred contract is an agreement your soul made before you incarnated. Caroline teaches that before you were born, your soul met with divine forces and other souls to plan the major lessons and experiences of your life. You chose your parents. You chose your challenges. You chose your gifts. Why? For soul growth. Caroline says, you're not here to be comfortable. You're here to evolve. The contracts explain why certain people come into your life. That difficult parent? That person was contracted to teach you a specific lesson, maybe boundaries, maybe forgiveness, maybe self-worth. That job that broke you? It was part of the contract to redirect you toward your true calling. Caroline teaches 4 primary archetypes everyone has: the child, the victim, the prostitute, and the saboteur. These are universal patterns that everyone works with. Then you have 8 additional personal archetypes unique to your soul's journey. Together, these 12 archetypes create the framework of your sacred contract. The 4 survival archetypes. Let's break down the 4 universal archetypes Caroline identifies. First, the child. This represents innocence, dependency, and your relationship with nurturing. The wounded child needs healing. The magical child maintains wonder. The orphan child feels abandoned. You're working with this archetype around issues of trust and safety. Second, the victim. This archetype teaches you about power. The shadow side is blaming others, feeling powerless. The gift is recognizing when you're giving your power away and reclaiming it. Caroline says, the victim archetype asks, are you using your wounds as excuses? Third, the prostitute. This isn't about sex, it's about selling yourself out, compromising your integrity for security, approval, or money. Everyone has moments where they prostitute their values. The lesson? Know your boundaries and honor them. Fourth, the saboteur. This archetype protects you from taking risks. It creates fear of success or failure, but Caroline says the saboteur can also protect you from bad choices if you work with it consciously. These 4 archetypes are survival patterns. Once you recognize them in your life, you can transform them from unconscious reactions into conscious choices. Discovering your personal archetypes. Beyond the 4 survival archetypes, you have 8 personal archetypes that define your specific path. Caroline identifies over 70 possible archetypes: the warrior, the healer, the teacher, the artist, the rebel, the mystic, the lover, and many more. To discover yours, Caroline suggests asking, what patterns repeat in my life? What roles do I naturally play? What draws me or repels me? For example, if you're always teaching or guiding others, you might have the teacher archetype. If you're drawn to healing physically, emotionally, or spiritually, you might have the healer. If you challenge authority and break rules, you're working with the rebel. Caroline teaches that your archetypes aren't good or bad, they're just energy patterns. Each has a light side and shadow side. The warrior can be courageous or aggressive. The caregiver can be compassionate or codependent. Your work is to integrate these energies consciously. When you understand your archetypes, you understand why you're drawn to certain people, careers, and situations. You're no longer confused about your purpose. You see the divine design, living your sacred contract. So how do you live your sacred contract consciously? Caroline gives clear guidance. First, take responsibility. Stop blaming your parents, your circumstances, your past. You chose this life at a soul level. Own it. Second, recognize the contracts with others. Everyone in your life has a role. Some are here to support you, some are here to challenge you. Both are fulfilling their contracts. Honor that. Third, pay attention to synchronicity. When the same lesson keeps appearing, that's your contract calling you to grow. Don't ignore it. Fourth, embrace your challenges as assignments. Caroline says, your wounds are your teachers. The very thing you're avoiding might be your greatest opportunity for growth. And fifth, live your purpose without attachment to outcome. Your contract isn't about achieving success as the world defines it. It's about evolving your soul. You might be contracted to experience poverty to learn compassion, or loss to learn surrender. The external circumstances aren't the point. The internal transformation is. Caroline Myss's teaching on sacred contracts gives meaning to everything you experience. Nothing is random. Nothing is punishment. Everything is part of your soul's curriculum. When you understand your archetypes and contracts, life makes sense. You stop resisting and start flowing with your divine assignment. Start today. Ask yourself, what patterns keep repeating in my life? What am I here to learn? Who am I here to become? Your sacred contract is already unfolding. The question is, will you wake up to it? If this gave you clarity about your life, hit that like button and subscribe for more transformative wisdom. Comment below, what archetype resonates most with you? I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, you chose this life. Live it consciously.